it's Eric Hudson here, and I just wanted to give you guys a real big heads up on a program that just came back out. About a year and a half ago we had it. It was called Hope Brings You Home from the Hardest Hit Fund, and it gave you 10% up to $20,000 to help you with down payment costs and to your closing costs. I put at least 5 people in this program the last time it came around, and they were able to walk into their homes with absolutely nothing down. So I'm not a lender, I'm a real estate agent here in Las Vegas, and the person who knows the most about it is going to be my friend Dan French here from Guaranteed Rate Vice President. So Dan, take it away and talk about the Hardest Hit Fund.
Yeah, so it's Hope Brings You Home is the program name, and
Okay.
it's somewhat mimicking what the Home is Possible or Home at Last. It does have some of the same characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what it is it's really a grant. Now, it follows the same suit that you have to be in the property for 3 years, but it's up to $20,000, like you said, or 10%. So there's a certain sweet spot on how much they can get based upon the 10%. So if you do an FHA loan, the FHA loan is 3.5% down. At roughly $300,000, that would cover your down payment and your closing costs.
Right.
So anything above that, you're probably coming out of pocket if you have no money coming into this and you're relying just on that. So this will cover up to $20,000, like you said. FHA does require to have a little bit higher credit rating at 660 or higher. If it's other than a different program other than FHA, then it's a 640 minimum.
Okay.
Now, what people don't understand is that there's a minimum debt ratio. The debt ratio is a little bit more restrictive on an FHA loan. That caps out at 45%, and then conventional caps out at 50%. Now, why is that important? Because on a normal FHA loan, you can really go a lot higher than 45% to get a loan. So it just means that they're going to be positioning you to possibly, approve for less amount. Okay. So again, it's not money you have to pay back, but you have to stay in the property, and it's only in certain zip codes. And we're going to post these zip codes, like you said.
Okay. So right now, the zip codes are going to be coming up. You're going to see a quick list of them. Okay. Good. So those are the zip codes that we're going to have for this round. And go ahead, Dan.
Well, the other thing you have to look at is it's going to give you good interest rates. So it does, like I said, it has the same characteristics as a home, maybe Home is Possible or Home at Last, but the rates on those are typically higher, and the rates on this type of program is a lot better. It's really comparable to today's rates. So the benefit is not only can you use it for your closing costs, you can use the money for both, but you also get a better interest rate than paying for the down payment assistance or the true Home at Last or Home is Possible program. That's one of the other things I want to say about it is there is a minimum requirement too of how much you can make per household. Okay. Certain counties have a level, like Nye County I think is like at 55,000. Here it's 98,500.
That's the max.
That's the max. So if you are at a household income, it's not one person or does somebody make over that and we're good. It's how many people are working in the household. Does it is it equal to or more than that, then you don't qualify.
Okay, so 98,000 is the max.
Yeah, as long as you're under 98,500, we're solid.
98,500. And what about the types of loan? You talked about FHA. Can you do it with conventional loan?
You can do it with conventional loans, and those are the ones that run up to 50%. That's a 640 minimum. But you got to realize too that you can put 3% down, but typically you have to have a little bit higher credit rating. Now, on 5%, a lot of people, that's kind of a lot of money, right? Because you're asking to put down 5%, and if you only get 10% or $20,000, that might take up everything that you have or a good portion. So you're probably going to have to consider coming in for the most part on a conventional loan with at least some money.
A little bit. Possible. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And what about, does it cover VA?
I think it does cover VA, I believe. I think it mimics the same as credit rating is 640. Same perks, same benefits. VA already gives the best pricing out there, but yeah, it will contribute towards closing costs for your VA loan.
So at least with the VA, you don't have the down payment, but you have the closing costs.
Right.
Now there's some other upfront costs that you have to think about. They have to pay for their appraisals.
They do.
That's not, you may consider the closing costs. It's not really, because you pay that ahead of time. And one of the other things you're gonna have to do, and I highly recommend this, is to get an inspection. You don't know if there are any dead cats in the wall or something. So those are two things you're gonna have to take care of ahead of time. Any other things they'll have to take care of ahead of time, Dan?
No, I mean, it's just home inspection, appraisal, anything that you come in, I mean, those are paid outside closing costs, right?
Right.
So it's not included into the whole package of what you're getting. Truthfully, you know, I have a lot of people that come to do this program, and I'm not saying that everybody can't take advantage of it, but let's let the people that really need this program take advantage of it. If you got $100,000 in the bank, I'm not saying, you know, if there's time of crisis, but if you really need it, then go after it. But if you don't need it, I mean, I would probably say refrain from people that are overly qualified for this program to try to go after something like this. You have to reserve this money.
Right.
And last time we had it only lasted a couple months.
Right.
And, you know, I had people coming at me with $200,000 in the bank asking me to reserve $20,000 for them. And it's just because they just want to save their money. And I get it, but what about that family or those people out there that are striving to become first-time home buyers, you know? So I'm just saying, look, at the end of the day, just consider that. You know, I think it's definitely a good program, but is it for everybody? No. I would say no.
Okay. And one of the other things to think about is that earnest money deposit. You still have to pay that. Now, you will get that back. Let's say you bought a $200,000 home, you had the $20,000. You would get that back in the end. The point is, you still have to have it. This isn't going to pay everything for you up front. So if there's $3,000 in earnest money deposit, you still need to come up with that or negotiate something. So it's not, oh, I'm just going to walk in, I don't have to have a single penny in my pocket.
Right.
You do have to have something.
Right.
Yeah. Any other restrictions to the program?
Nothing big. You know, like we said, you know, if you try to use it, if you decide to refinance or move from that house, whatever month you're in, you have to pay that money back. So whatever is given to you, I mean, that if you take the whole $20,000, that's a lot of money you might have to pay back if you decide to leave it. So really, just be understanding that it's in certain zip codes, might not be in a property area that you want to buy, but it's a good opportunity for anybody out there that's saying, you know what, if I'm renting right now,
Right.
and I have really kind of I'm on the fence 50-50 about buying versus renting, maybe it pushes you into the market to buy a home at this time.
Okay. Now, here's something that it actually created last time I was around. Now, about 2,000 people were able to qualify.
Right.
That took 2,000 homes off the market with people who didn't have to make any kind of down payment or closing costs, or at least very minimal. Well, you know, there's this old thing in economics, supply and demand. Right now we have 5,000 homes on the market. If 750 are claimed with this program, that's 750 less, which means there's a lower supply, more competition for those homes, which is actually going to drive up the price. That's what it did the last time. It drove up prices just a slight bit. And those of you who are enjoying price appreciations right now are renters who are looking to buy a home, who are just saying, I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm telling you, the fence sitting is not a place to be right now. Even MBA, the Mortgage Bankers Association, what are they saying the prices are going to be doing in the next couple of years?
So they're going to go up.
Okay.
Right? So I mean, the thing is you have to look at if the prices keep going up and rates go up. You know, I always tell this story. I had a couple that was first-time home buyers decided to wait a year. This was about a year and a half ago. And they decided to wait. They were trying to do a down payment assistance program. They came back and did one. The same house that they were trying to buy was significantly less than what they were originally going to buy by waiting just 1 year. The rate was up by about an eighth or a quarter of a point, which it wasn't crazy, but they still qualified for the same loan amount, but now they're just kind of less in the market. They can only approve for less. You know, the house that they're looking for is not as good as it was.
Right.
And so, they still bought, but they were kicking themselves not buying today versus, you know, next year or something.
Sitting on the fence, hoping something falls.
That's right.
Okay.
One other thing I want to say is that this program has a cap of 400,000 loan limit.
Okay.
So that's important because if you're a buyer out there that's a conventional buyer and you're trying to buy a $450,000 home, or you're a veteran and you know how that veterans can now go up to $1 million with no down payment, that's going to be a significant thing, because if you're not seeing something in the market, you know that you have, you know, you're qualified income wise to get into a home like that, you're only going to be capped on this program to 400,000.
Okay. So now we mentioned that your couple there who are first-time home buyers. Is this a first-time home buyer program only, or can someone use this as a possible step up? Let's say if they were just breaking even in their home or something. What are the rules as far
Well,
as first-time home buyer?
you can't own a home. So that's
Okay.
it. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer, but you can't have a home. It has to be a
Right.
primary residence too. You can't go out and just use this for an investment property and
Right.
utilize that as some type of, nest egg later down in life. It's really just there for people that are in the market that potentially want to buy a primary residence and they just want to take advantage of an opportunity. And pretty much the restrictions are it just has to be a primary residence. You can't own a home already.
Right. But as far as owning a home already, let's say, what they sometimes consider a first-time home buyer, so if you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years.
Correct.
Is that apply to this program, or is just you don't have to own a home right now?
From what I read, it's just if you don't own a home, there's no 3-year prior waiting period.
Okay.
If you don't have a home and you're trying to buy a primary residence and you want to utilize the program, it's there.
Okay. And what about owner/non-owner occupancy? Let's say this is primary home, but the person wants to take advantage of the program, and I don't know, let's say you're in Texas right now.
Sure.
And you can't move until this summer.
Sure.
Because normally with a VA loan or an FHA loan, you're required to occupy the property within 60 days.
That's right.
Now, if they were to go with conventional, and let's say they couldn't move here until this summer, or later this summer, and they wanted to still buy the home, and this is going to be their primary residence, not an investment.
Right.
Is that a possibility, or are they required to remove them?
Well, there's always a 60-day period for the bank.
Mhm.
It's the bank's requirement. It's not the program's requirement.
Okay.
So the bank wants you to move in with 60 days because they want you to take ownership of that asset.
Right.
Okay, so there is going to be a requirement for that, for you to occupy the property for
Okay.
any institution.
Okay, so like, let's say if I was buying a home and it had a renter in it, and they have 3 months left on their rent, that's a no-go.
That's a no-go because by technicality, you have to move in because the bank wants you to say, look, you're getting a discount because it's an occupancy thing. And if you're trying to take advantage of a program and then you're also still renting a property, it's kind of, you're taking advantage of both worlds.
Sure.
So what it is you really want to make sure that the bank, who knows if the bank's going to come after you and say, we saw that you came in exactly 62 days and it wasn't, nobody's going to know that. But I'm just saying per guidelines, and so you can sleep better at night. I would say make sure that you get in within a 60-day period
Okay.
based upon that program.
Now, and this is primary occupancy only because residence also includes, like, when you have a second home. So if someone has a home in Florida and they're bi-coastal.
Correct.
They have a home here.
Yeah, vacation home.
Right. So that usually qualifies, but this does not.
This does not,
qualify.
because they're really utilizing the down payment and closing costs for this program, and it does not, in this program, it does not offer second home purchasing. It's
Okay.
just primary only.
Okay. Okay, let me see. I think of anything else anyone out there is asking, because fortunately I don't know every question that you're gonna ask right now. I think we've covered most of them. Is there any,
Well, I
you
think-
can think about, someone to think about?
I mean, we gave you the brunt of the details, and maybe there's some things out there. It's a new program that's coming out again, and I know we had it 2 years ago. For the most part, it's the same, but if we've missed something in this video and you're like, you know what, I saw this, or we're definitely gonna go and check this out and get our homework on this and see what that says. But for the most part, I think anybody out there that's looking to buy this or use this program has the understanding of what the big importance is of what, those guidelines are.
Okay, and I think I've said this before, I just wanna make sure, there's only 750 slots this
That's
time.
right, only 750 slots, and they're broken down by how many are in each zip code.
Oh, okay.
And they're gonna go quick. I mean, people know that when there's something free.
Well, this time they know it was free. The last time
They
they
did.
thought it was a scam.
Yeah.
And it was like a couple of months, like only half the money was gone. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Everyone talked to us, it's a scam. And then it was in the local newspaper, the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Next week, all the money gone. But this time everyone knows about it and everyone's jumping on it. So this isn't the time to, again, fence sit.
Yeah.
Because you gotta go grab this money.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, and I think a lot of people always getting memos and emails, and it's like, oh, this is coming back. It just seems like the whole industry knows about this program.
Yeah.
So it's
Unlike last time.
Unlike last time, it was kind of a hidden gem.
Right.
Like nobody knew about it. All of a sudden, it started to roll out. month and a half, and then within a 3 to 4 week period, that was just boom. 2.5 months. all of it was gone. But the first month and a half that I remember,
Nothing.
it was just really slowly going, you know?
They all thought it was a scam.
And you understand you have to reserve this money. So you're going through a process just like any other loan.
Right.
You get to a point and then it's before it's sent to underwriting, they have to reserve the money once it's conditionally approved. So you have to send it in and it's conditionally approved, and then they're like, hey, you know what? We got a loan here. Okay, how much are you guys gonna need? Okay, we're gonna reserve this and we're gonna go through the process. Also, you have to take pass an exam. Okay, this exam is free and there's like 6 locations. I'll let you guys know if you want to reach out to me or myself or Eric, but you have to take an exam, and the exam is something that's mandated. It's pretty simple, but you have to go through the process. You can take it online.
Okay.
So you do have to have that as well in hand.
Okay, so you can take the exam online, so, and it's free.
And it's free.
We get you that information if you need it.
Yep.
I'm sure you're gonna need it. Let's see, that's pretty much it. Just reach out to a lender, make sure the lender is certified, because it requires you to be in the program
It
as
does.
a lender.
You have to be certified as a mortgage company to do this
Okay.
with that program, yeah.
And of course, guaranteed rate is, right?
Guaranteed rate is,
Okay.
yes,
Okay. Good.
absolutely. Yep.
Okay, well, if you have any questions, linking everything, if you're looking at this on the YouTube video, everything's gonna be linked below. You'll have all of that information. And if you need anything, just reach out to myself or reach out to Dan. And Dan, what's that website to go to?
My website?
Yeah.
It's vegasloanguru.com.
vegasloanguru.com.
Yeah, I don't know, people know how to spell guru. It's vegasloanguru.com. So.
Okay, yep. Okay, you guys have any questions, just reach out. And we're so more than that.